Hello Metro Champions. Now that you know how to round numbers, let's try a few examples. We already know the rounding is always done in tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s and millions. Rounding shows which round number the number is closest to. This will be easiest to explain with a single digit and how we round it. A single digit is either close to 0 or to 10. When you look at the number line below, you will see 0 on one side and 10 on one side. If you count the vertical lines, you will see that 5 is exactly in the middle. This is called halfway point. The principle of rounding is that any number that is greater than 5 goes towards the bigger number it is in between, and any number that is less than 5 goes towards the smaller number it is in between. Whether you are asked to round to tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s and millions, you will always find a 5 as the halfway mark. For this video, we will only show you how to round tens, hundreds, thousands and 10,000s. And soon you will be able to understand the significance of the number 5 as the halfway point. Let's take a look at a few examples. Let's take the number 3 on the number line. When rounding to the nearest 10, 3 is in between 0 and 10. Is it closer to 10 or is it closer to 0? Yes, it is closer to 0. We can also see that it is less than 5, and we know that 5 is the halfway mark. So, if you round 3 to the nearest 10, it becomes 0. Now, let's take number 6 on the number line. When rounding to the nearest 10, 6 is also in between 0 and 10. Is it closer to 10 or is it closer to 0? Yes, it is closer to 10. We can also see that it is greater than 5, which is the halfway mark. So, if you round 6 to the nearest 10, it becomes 10. Let's talk about how you would round the number 5. When rounding to the nearest 10, 5 is in between 0 and 10 and exactly in the center of both numbers. The principle here is any number 5 or greater rounds to the greater number it is in between. In this case, that is 10. As we discussed, a round number always has a 0 at the end. And when you are rounding a number, you will always be asked to round it to a multiple of tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. So, here are a few of the common types of rounding you will be expected to be able to do in school. If you are asked to round to the nearest 10, the number you have rounded will always be in multiple of tens. If you are asked to round to the nearest 100, the number you have rounded will always be in multiples of hundreds. If you are asked to round to the nearest 1,000, the number you have rounded will always be in multiples of thousands. If you are asked to round to the nearest 10,000, the number you have rounded will always be in multiples of 10,000s. One can also say that you round in units of tens, hundreds, and so on and so forth. Now that you understand that rounding is about which number a number is closer to, let's look at some more examples. Take the number 32 and round this to the nearest 10. Identify the number that signifies the tens units. Yes, that is correct. It is 3, which signifies the 30 in the number. Now, the number 32 is in between the number 30 and the number 40. The halfway point when rounding to tens is 35. Notice the 5. As the number 32 is less than 35, 32 will get rounded down to 30. Now let's take an even bigger number, 275, and round this to the nearest 100. Identify the number that signifies the 100 unit. Yes, that is correct. It is the 2, which signifies the 200 in the number. Now the number 275 is in between 200 and 300. The halfway point when rounding to hundreds is 250. Notice the 5. As 275 is greater than 250, 275 will get rounded up to 300. Now let's take an even bigger number, 6,870, and round this to the nearest 1,000. Identify the number that signifies the thousands unit. Yes, that is correct. It is the 6, which signifies the 6,000 in the number. Now, 6,870 is in between 6,000 and 7,000. The halfway point when rounding to thousands is 6,500. Notice the 5. As 6870 is greater than 6500, 6870 will get rounded up to 7000. Hope you enjoyed learning about rounding off numbers. Here are a few tips for you when you round off numbers. See you next time.